That's a lot of money, £2,000. Well, welcome back. Cherry and Toby are with me. They're both infatuated with the dog. I'll try and distract them a little bit because now we are joined by dog behaviourist Stan Rawlinson and his beautiful Cocker Spaniel, Amber, who's basically the whole studio's fawning over Amber, and she's been incredibly well behaved. Now, we're going to be answering your questions about badly behaved dogs, and we'll hopefully have some helpful tips for you, what you could do with them. Stan...
She's trying to read the auto cue.
Reading the auto cue.
There's a little growl there.
I think there's a little growl because there's a camera that's sort of quite nice and big, sort of floating away. She doesn't like that camera at all. Stan, we're going to come to you in a moment. Cherry, you don't have a dog yourself.
I don't.
But with the behaviourist coming on, you showed us this video. So let's have a look at the video. This is your partner's dog meeting your cat for the first time.
Yeah. Look at that. So you would imagine that a Labrador meeting a cat for the first time, the dog would, try and eat the cat and chase the cat. This is, Bert is the most beautifully behaved dog I have ever met in my entire life. He's calm, he doesn't bark, but he's been really fully trained. He is the nicest dog, apart from Amber, sorry. He is the nicest dog I've ever met in my life because he's been properly trained. He's a delight to be around.
So what's
dog.
What's your question for Stan?
My question for Stan is, Stan, how do I introduce because unfortunately my cat has got a bit of an attitude. She's got potato energy. She's got this energy.
All cats have got attitudes.
No, I've got another cat.
No, let's not make this about the cat.
So how do I introduce them and make them best friends? Can I?
Probably not with the cat, but you may be able to do something with the dog. Now, that is a situation where you'd have to do it very carefully, allow them to come together themselves. You have to remember that cats don't have owners, they have staff.
I can contest
Dogs
that.
have owners.
100%.
Yeah. So the thing to do is you must put them together carefully. Make sure, by the way, if your dog is anxious or nervous, like Amber, she's only 7 months old, saw the camera coming down and towards her, went, oh, what's that? And if you saw a tail went down, she's looking at it, she's not quite sure why it's moving.
She is suspicious.
But after a while, she would get very used to that and that she'd ignore it. So you just gradually introduce it and praise them to do it. But what you can't do, if the dog is anxious or nervous, don't comfort it. Never comfort it. Because if you do, dogs see comfort as something very different. They see it as reinforcement rather than reassurance. Yeah. So you imagine a clap of thunder goes off and the dog goes like that, and you go, oh, poor dog. What you've just done is made that a lot worse. And when you do it the next time, it makes it worse. And in the end, it becomes obsessive compulsive.
I think that's the same with children.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly the same. You hit it.
Right?
You hit it right on the head there. Yeah. Exactly the same as children.
It's Pavlov's dogs, isn't it?
Yeah.
It goes back to the Pavlov.
Does not like the camera on. We have to explain, there's a camera that's on a sort of a big arm. So it looks kind of, there you go, you can see it on the right of your screen. And she just doesn't like it because it's just weird. Right, Stan, how important is it to train your dog and start early?
The first 16 weeks of a dog's life, Alexis, it's so important as to overcome almost everything else.
Right.
By the way, she's never ever growled before. She's growling at the camera.
That camera's upset her a lot.
Right, first 16 weeks. All learning in that first 16 weeks is permanent. So if you train it to recall, and it's very easy to do, that will be permanently for the rest of their life. In that 16 weeks, you get 0 to 12 weeks. It's a human socialisation period. You must mix it with loads and loads of other people to be able to get that dog to be happy around everyone. Now, this dog is being cuddled by everyone and anything. As soon as I came in this studio, loved every bit of it. Why? Because as soon as I picked this dog up, and I had the male dog of this, so I got pick of the litter because it was a stud. And as soon as I got the dog at 8 weeks, I was immediately, I took the dog down the pub.
Yeah.
Socialising.
Right? I took
she's
it
used to
over
being
the
around
park.
people.
It's had its first vaccination, and I let it off. Why did I let it off? Because it's not going to run anywhere.
Yeah.
So 0 to 12 weeks human socialisation period, 0 to 16 week canine socialisation. You've got to mix it with loads and loads of dogs, and particularly other puppies, because they play rough and tumble, and when they do that, they get bite inhibition. Sorry if that was a bit long, but...
No, it's all very important. I know there's 3 things you're going to show us. Do you want to start with the command, the leave it command that you've been training her to do?
Yes.
So this is when a dog is instructed not to eat something that they really want to eat.
Yeah, what I do is I start with the treat, and I put it between my eyes like that. Amber, what's this? Here. So I'm going to offer her the treat. Good.
What a
Take it.
good
Okay.
girl. Oh, my goodness. What a
Now,
good girl.
I taught her that in probably 15 to 20 seconds.
Wow.
And the reason I wanted to do that, I don't want her hoovering around all over. So if I put something on the floor, Amber, good girl, leave it.
I can't believe that. That's
Oh,
extraordinary.
that's just cruel. Let her have it.
That's
Yeah, I
amazing.
knew you'd say that. Everyone says that. Amber, go on in. There you go.
That is
you
absolutely
go.
amazing. Wow. Wow.
So it's important. Why? Because I might pick up things that you don't want them to do, chocolate or anything like that. I don't want them picking it off the floor. I don't want them snatching treats out the children's hands or food or pinching food from on top of the thing. So just train it. And it's so easy to do.
I can't really believe what I'm seeing. My brother has got 2 of the sweetest, but most bonkers spaniels on the planet, and they are actually just little doggy hoovers. They just go around and they are adorable, but they definitely don't do that.
Now, Stan, one of the most important things, recall. A lot of people know. You mentioned, letting the dog off the lead, getting used to be off the lead. Can you show us a little bit of recall with Amber, and also talk us through how you would teach a dog recall at this early age?
Always have it on the lead. First of all, for your first recall, have it on the lead initially. And train to walk into heel and everything else at the same time during that 16 week. But the first thing you can do, peculiarly enough, if you take your dog off over the park almost as soon as you get it, I know a lot of people say, oh, you've got to wait this amount of time for the vaccinations and everything else. But in actual fact, if you read the real social side of it and the situation it should do, there's a lot of vets now believe that we should be socialising the dog so much that don't be too worried about the vaccination. It's the people and other dogs mixing.
Okay.
Don't be a problem. Take it outside and what you can do is get it to sit stay to start off with. If I just demonstrate that for a sec.
Yeah, sure.
Amber, here. I know you're watching that.
And
I'm just going to
camera,
go...
she just hasn't stopped looking at.
Sit, stay. Stay. And I teach her, and I just say it slowly and talk quietly. Yeah. You don't have to shout at your dog. They're not deaf, they've got better hearing than us. Stay. And I just go, Amber, stay. Just turn your back, walk away, do whatever you want to do, wander around here, there, and everywhere. I go back, and then don't make too much eye contact because the dog will want to get up and come towards you. I don't want it to do that time, and I'm going to praise it. What a clever girl. Yes, clever. The second thing is start putting your food down. And when you put the food down, the dog's not allowed to touch it.
Right.
In here, we have a whistle.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to just take this dog over here a sec. Here. I'm going to leave the lead on rather than take it off. I'd normally just take it off. Stay. Aww. Here. Amber.
Oh, wow.
Yeah!
Good girl.
2 pips on the whistle. This doesn't sound like panic. You get the whistle on this immediately. As soon as you get the dog, get a whistle on it. And this is an Acme whistle. I'm not paid by Acme, but they're the best.
Yeah.
If you lose it, you can buy one with exactly the same tone.
That's right.
You get every single dog in the park.
Oh, yeah.
That's what happened to me when I was using it on my dog. Listen, Stan, there's so many people who have been calling in, I think, because they want to speak to you, have some questions. So you good for take some callers. You ready?
Yeah, no problems.
Amber looks ready. She just hasn't taken her eyes off that camera. Let's speak to Janet in Merseyside. Janet, welcome to the show. What would you like to ask Stan?
Hi, Stan. I'm a volunteer for the Cinnamon Trust, and I walk a little Cairn Terrier called Rusty, and he's reacted to tractors, random vehicles, mobility scooters, and children on scooters. He's fine with pushchairs and wheelchairs, and I just don't know what to do for him.
There's Rusty.
Okay.
It's beautiful, Rusty.
Yeah.
There he is.
It's a... Oh, right, yeah. Typical guy. It's, very, very typical, that one. A lot of dogs are concerned with certain vehicles that make a fair amount of noise. Now, funny enough, they can get very funny with it. Does the dog chase it, or is it a case of it just barks at it?
He will go around in a frenzy, barking. If he wasn't on a lead, he would actually attack the vehicle.
Okay, now, he's not actually attacking the vehicle, he's trying to chase it away because he's fearful of it. It's the sound. And what you've got to do is work up to that sort of thing. Try and get yourself in a position with the dog. If you can, get some anti-anxiety tablets, but the herbal type, the herbal are fine, the mild herbal type. If you can give the dog that for about a week before and then start working on it and moving closer to it, have treats in your pocket, as I keep loose treats in mine. These are all specialised treats that I have made for me, like the leads and collars and things like that. And they're quite important, the treat. It needs to be a good one. This is rabbit, as a matter of interest, and varying other things. But what you need to do, gradually move towards it. And in the end, the dog will feel more and more comfortable and not bark as much. You can put something called noise aversion therapy on the dog, where you create a sound that if the dog starts spinning or going for something, you make this sound. But you'd need a behaviourist to be able to do that. And it will make a massive difference. But gradually, gently introduce it to it.
All right, Janet, thank you for your question. Amber is still suspicious of our camera, which is what that soft growling you can hear. Callum in Edinburgh. Callum, welcome to the show. What would you like to ask?
Hello. Thank you for being on the programme today. Right. Now, I've had 8 dogs. Well, I've still got the 8th dog. The other rest all passed away. But anyway, this dog I've got now, the rescue dog, I got about 10 months ago from the cat and dog home. And now since day one, when his harness is on and we're walking along the street and he sees another dog, he goes crazy, pulling, barking. And I've tried many ways by having treats and trying to take his attention away from the dog, and that does work, but I wondered if there was anything else.
Okay,
that's
Callum.
the main concern, but the other concern is that, again, all the time since the day I got him, he drags me along the street, and I've fallen twice and cut my head.
Okay, Callum, thank you. Stan, what do you recommend?
Okay, on the first one, could you just tell me how old this dog is? Or approximately?
He was 6 on Monday.
Okay, so he wasn't born during lockdown. Right,
No.
He was born before lockdown. This dog was not socialised in the first 16 weeks of its life. It's as simple as that. There's 2 critical periods, 0 to 12 weeks is a human socialisation period. A minimum of 100 people have got to handle, cuddle, touch, do everything else with your dog. Take it down the pub, take it down the cafe, take it wherever you want to, wherever there's loads of people, so they can handle it. Children, older people, all of them. Get it used to it, it'll be great. And other dogs must have played with other puppies, that sort of puppy classes where they can go back and forward and play.
So what
makes all the difference. Do it before 16 weeks, no problem. Your dog was almost certainly not socialised in that time, and therefore he's fearful. He's not an aggressive. 93% of all fear-based all aggression is fear-based.
So what can Callum do now? What can Callum do now? Because obviously he hasn't had the dog.
You've got to make sure, first of all, that the dog is safe and he's not going to bite. So I would introduce a muzzle over a gradual period of time, over about a week, putting treats inside the muzzle, and then you find people that you know who've got dogs who are prepared to allow you to approach. And there's a number of things you can do that gradually desensitize it. The difficulty is, if you didn't put it in the first place, it's in some cases quite difficult to overcome. But you can get it to be far, far better and less aggressive. And remember, it's fear aggressive, not dominance aggressive, than it is at the moment. With the pulling on the lead, just type in walk it to heel, Stan Rawlinson, and it'll come up. It'll teach your dog to walk to heel in about 15 minutes.
Oh, lovely stuff. I'm going to look that up as well. Callum, thank you. I can tell you that Amber is finally relaxed with that camera. Look at her. She's decided to pay no attention to it now, although she's keeping an eye out to it. Let's take a very quick question from Lisa in Shropshire. Lisa, give us your question for Stan.
Hi, I've got 2 5-month-old miniature dachshunds. We've slowly integrated them with the cat, and they're fine. When she's sitting still or lying down, they're fine. They'll smell her, and that, they'll leave her alone. But we had one in November, then I had the second in New Year. They're used to the cat until she moves, and then they start prancing around her as if they want to play with her, and she's swiping her. And I don't want them to swipe and catch the dog's face or anything. Is there anything I can do to help with that? Because I've took a collar off that's got the bell on.
Okay. Lisa, only because we're very short on time. Stan, shortly, what can Lisa do?
Okay, I'm glad you said that. I developed something called the Jingler, and it's 3 bells on a clip. And what you do is you create the sound on that, and when they go towards you tinkle the sound, they don't want to hear the sound. And how you do it is very, very simply, is comfort it each time they hear the sound. They don't want to hear it. Just do that and say off to it. Have a look on how to introduce a dog to a new cat or a cat. I have written it. It is on my website.
OK, well, look, thank you, Lisa. That's it for today. Thank you to Cherry, to Toby and to Stan, and, of course, to Amber, the star of the show, for joining us. Jeremy's back.